Sometimes it's necessary to be the bearer of bad news, or the reality check. Today, some guy walks in and goes, "Getting ready for the election?" And I said, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Well, yeah." And he goes on telling me about who he's going to vote for and all that. And I'm not going to say because who cares? And I said, "Well, honestly, that's not a conversation I really want to have because it would probably upset you." And he's like, "Oh, no, why would it upset me? I don't get upset." And I said, "Well, any person who's voting must obviously think they couldn't take care of themselves. And I understand because we were brought up with that always being there. And if I say to you right now, by you voting, I don't have any confidence in either candidate or anyone running my life. So by you voting, that actually makes it one step further in the hole for me to actually have freedom." And he's like, "Well, that's just your opinion." And I said, "How could you even say that there's freedom if you have to abide by someone's rule that isn't mandatory for life, but mandatory for a higher class of people that self-proclaim themselves to be more important or have authority because people like you elected them or attempted to and think that your vote means something?" And he goes, "Well, what you're saying is almost like tyranny." I said, "No, it isn't. I'm not a tyrant. I think you mean it's almost like mutiny, or it's almost like I'm a traitor, right? Is that what you're saying? I'm trading on my country?" And he's like, "Definitely. If this was a war, you'd be one of the first to go." And I said, "I know. That's the sad thing, because I'm a person who lives in this country and actually cares about the people in it, not the man-made laws that are floating around in people's minds like themes. I don't need somebody to give me a theme on how life works. I don't need somebody to say that this is reality. We've got to pay our taxes. That's a false reality. And if that doesn't make sense to you, then you're not nearly as intelligent as you seem to be, sir." And he got so mad, he didn't even buy his stuff and he left. Well, I hope he fills out some kind of complaint on me because I'm telling the truth to people. Do you want to walk around every day just pretending like everything's great, and when someone walks in and says, "Hey, good morning, how's it going?" just put on a smile and lie and say, "Everything's good. It's a good day"? It's not a good day. I'm a good person. I have love in my heart. That's true. It's not a good day when we're getting closer to somebody electing our future commander-in-chief to put us deeper in the hole. It's not a good day. It's not a good time. It's not happy, fun. People need to wake up and grow up a lot because they're the ones who are causing the biggest part of the problem. Because whether or not anyone voted, that ruling class would push its power around one way or the other. They just want to have people supporting their bullshit. And too many people have fallen for it and are stuck so deeply that even when you say it straight to them like that, they get offended. If I say, "Do you need somebody to tell you how to live when you wake up in the morning every day and say, 'Do this, you better make money and pay my fees that I'm charging you. Because if not, you're a criminal, you're not part of your country, and you're not a loyal quote-unquote American.' Give me a fucking break. Seriously. This is where people should be getting very angry, especially when other people who walk around acting like they know what's going on in the world have no clue whatsoever. They really have no idea what they're setting their children and grandchildren up for. And I will always go back to saying that because they're the ones who are going to have to grow up in an even worse future if their parents and grandparents or older adults don't do something for them. They're innocent. They don't know what's going on. They've been brought up in a world that makes them look at a screen and disconnect from everyone around them. Just today, along with that, another guy comes in after that. He's one of the FedEx guys, and he's got dead eyes. He's got his smartwatch. He's got his earpiece in. He's always talking out loud while he walks around. He'll ask you a question, and then when you answer him back, he'll say, "Huh?" Because he's listening to a conversation or a video on his phone when, hey man, if you're going to ask me a question, at least pay attention to the answer. Don't ask me a question and then have your attention sucked away to your freaking phone. It's so sad that many people are walking around in the world and they're not even where they're at locally. They're actually just walking around, and in their head, they're off in La La Land. "Hey guys, look at me. Oh, how you doing? I have no clue who the fuck I am." Is that supposed to be something that you applaud and you embrace? Because I won't. I am sick of it. I am very angry about it. Why aren't more people? Have they really been that desensitized? Do they really not have any feelings at all? Or do they really not care? It's one of those things. Most people are just sitting back doing nothing or complaining, or they're pushing it right along. They're going right along with it, and they're proud to say they're Republican or Democrat or liberal or all that bullshit. It is nothing but bullshit. If somebody could tell me how having someone else force things on you and say that that's your requirement in order to live in the country that they represent, how is that not the exact same thing as a slave master? Because you get a phone, you get to watch stupid TV shows that mean nothing. There's nothing good on TV. It's just a bunch of stuff to distract you, or have you imagining and living in fairy tale land, or feeding your desires and all the things you want to eat and all the things you crave that are poison for you. They're all going in a negative direction. Where is anything pure in the world? I am. And maybe if I swear a couple times, the same people that will vote somebody in to start a war or want people thrown in jail for not doing simple things that aren't crimes, that aren't hurting anybody, they'll want them locked up if they don't agree with the way they want the world ran. How do they not see that as the opposite of freedom? I feel like it's all just a broken record over and over and over, and nobody wants to change until someone makes them or threatens them to do it. Deep down, people must for some reason think they're doing good, but then at the same time, if you ask them, they'll say something like, same shit, different day, same old thing. Well, why don't we make it different? Why don't we work on making something new? Why isn't that something that more people are putting their effort toward? Because they see that it's something that is needed to be done. Or are they just too lazy? I'm just going to stop because I'm not trying to sit here repeating like a damn broken record. I can't stand this anymore. And then people say, well, keep your head up. And I say, I would rather be dead than live in a world of people who don't care about anything. And they're like, oh, don't say that. Why? I mean it, so why not say exactly what I mean? I'm not afraid of death. I'd rather not live in a world where I'm surrounded by living dead. Zombies, literally. This is the zombie apocalypse. This is the alien invasion. What do they call illegal people? And I don't agree with the idea of someone being illegal because they don't have a paper. But at the same time, what do we call them? Illegal aliens. What has been happening for the last few years? They've been letting illegal aliens come into the world. Don't you see that they have been doing exactly what has been put out in the media, just in a different way than people are expecting it? And then there's other people being like, oh, I see spaceships and UFOs every day flying over my house. Yeah, that's in your brain too. A lot of the unidentified flying objects are definitely man-made. I don't want to say all of them because there are some wild things going on in the universe that most people aren't even ready to comprehend. So I'm not even going to touch those subjects. Most people who can't get their heads out of their ass aren't going to understand what's really happening here when they're voting for somebody to rule their life happily. And then they're telling other people they should do it. Support our cause. We're going to do away with the problems by causing more. Yeah. Anyway, I really do wish everybody the best. But by voting our rights away to somebody else to take care of our lives for us, that's not happening. And that's true. That's not an opinion. Whoever you are, if someone listening to this doesn't agree, why don't you please comment and tell me why you think we need somebody in charge? We don't. We need to work on reaching out to our family members and society and actually do something in person that's real and meaningful. There are no words to say this in a kind way. I want you to hear what I'm saying and realize that there's no denying this. Let's say there's a brand named Nature's Menu, dog and cat food, made with real salmon and chicken, and it's called Nature's Menu. I will guarantee you right now that your dog and your cat are not natural animals. I will guarantee you right now that those salmon and those chickens are farmed, so therefore they are not natural. So when you look at a brand name called Nature's Menu, realize that your dogs and cats are not natural. You can't have Nature's Menu with unnatural things. We can have human nature's menu or distorted human nature's menu, and that's exactly what it is. I'm correct. I'm not wrong. And I'm saying it because I love people and I want us to start doing the right thing because we aren't. There's no question. That's the fact. We're not doing the right thing as people. And we need to start doing it. And we need to stop people that are doing the wrong thing. Period. Since I come from a kind place all the time, and it's actually a natural thing for me, I see a lot of things that are about freedom for people and animal liberation. And you'll hear these groups arguing back and forth, with one saying how we treat animals so bad, and then others saying how there's problems in the world with people, so we should worry about that first. But there actually is the occasion where you can be kind all the time to everything. You don't have to just pick one thing to be kind to. It's not hard at all, especially if you think about what you're putting in your body. It's very simple. But I want to use that to segue into a topic that may seem like it's not that close related, but it really is, especially if we look at it as in humans are so much more important than animals, so we should be treating them at this way higher level than animals. And I don't necessarily agree, other than we should be kind to all things, and humans have more ability, so we have to pay more attention to the things that people can do compared to other animals. But in that same way, let's just look at a person who says, oh, they treat the animals really well at their farm. People will say stuff like, they treat the animals really well before they slaughter them. Okay. Let's say every day you got to go outside and play around for 5 or 6 hours. But at the end of that 5 or 6 hours, you were called into a barn. And when you get in that barn, you get shackled up or tied to a post. And you get to sit there and you get fed. And someone will come along and put their hands in your butt or do whatever they want to your body. And if you don't cooperate, they'll kick you, they'll stab you with a pitchfork, they'll slap you, call you names, all kinds of stuff. And in that same way, how can you say that they treat them well and let them play around, but other than that, they beat them, they do whatever they want to them, and then when it comes to the end, they're going to chop them up into pieces and sell them to people? That's not kindness. That's not treating them better at all. Oh boy, they got to run around outside for a little bit every day before they got beaten. Now let's put children in that place. I would never do that, but I'm using this as a hypothetical. If we're not talking about treating the children like that, look what we do to the children. You know how you send a dog off to get trained? Well, if the parent isn't in charge of what the child is learning, and you're sending them off to, let's say, school, they're taught whatever they're supposed to be taught by the government-sanctioned education. And you send them there, they better pay attention. If not, they get punished. Maybe not the same way as the animals, but they get punished. And if the adults at that establishment or that school or that academy, whatever it may be, decides to say this is what the lesson is today, well, the children better listen, or that adult will punish them in some way or other. In the same way, even though it's not to the same level of violence being committed, it's telling your children you need to listen or we'll punish you. We're doing that with our children from the time they go to school for the rest of their lives. Because once they get out of school, they go into the big world and they're expected to conform the same way. And if not, they get punished. And those people with badges, they can supposedly come pick you up and take you in. Unfortunately, there are so many people who won't stand up to that. They'll just say, I have to listen. I have to do it because I don't want to cause any ripples or be a problem. But then don't you see the problem when other people are forcing their ways upon you and you just conform to it without asking any questions? All I'm saying with this scenario is that if we're going to debate over how we treat people or how we treat animals, we've really got to get our shit together. We're not treating anything with complete respect. We're not thinking about it deep enough and really contemplating on whether or not this is how things should be. Whether it was how things have been, that doesn't matter whatsoever. It's time to make the changes necessary to make this a better world. And we all can do it. We just need to start thinking. And we need more people who know how to think to help other people learn how to think. It starts with the diet. And other than that, you've got to learn to focus your mind. And that's all possible.